coming off the Saturday night, disappointed outcome. Obviously a huge game. Get two talented teams. That got to go at it, and unfortunately, we just made too many mistakes early. Throughout. We -3 in the turnover margin. Gave up explosive plays. Had some critical penalties that that hurt us throughout, and unfortunate to play like that at times in that game. And it's a team that they played clean. They hit explosive plays. And were able to take advantage of some of the mistakes that we had, and you got to give credit to them. And so our football team is honestly very disappointed, angry. You come back and watch the film, you see opportunities and things that we've got to clean up. At this point, we've lost 2 games. We have 6 turnovers in those 2 games. The things that we've shown high capability of production, and we've shown a lot of potential of what we can do, but it still comes down to applying that throughout the course of a game. And so when you play talented and talented good football teams, you have to play to a certain standard, and those objectives that we know it takes to be successful. We've got to win those areas. And so I thought our guys showed great heart, toughness, grit, all of it throughout the game to obviously make it very competitive there at the end. And unfortunately we needed another drive, but we didn't earn the outcome that we wanted. And obviously you came back last night and got a chance to watch it, and you see the areas where we have to improve. And now it's about applying those corrections, players, coaches, everybody involved to put ourselves in position to go get a victory this week. And we got a talented Pitt team that is coming off their best win this last week. I mean, it's one that's well coached. They made a change at quarterback here this last yesterday, I guess Saturday, and a true freshman came in and played lights out. I mean, he was extraordinary defensively. Always played to a high standard. A lot of respect for Coach Narduzzi, Coach Bates for the job that they do. And then this is a team that is very capable, and they lost to Louisville a few weeks back, where they turned the ball over 5 times. And I think it was still a 1-score game. So this is a team that we're going to have to obviously have a great week of preparation, and we got to be able to go out there and play at an elite level. For us, and obviously to be able to put ourselves in position to go be successful.
Start with Chris.
Thank you. On the depth chart, obviously noticed that Q dropped off in the defense. Secondary got shook up a little bit. Can you just talk about Quinterius' status as well as the changes?
Unfortunately, Q suffered an injury there in the game, early in the game, that it was going to require surgery, and he'll be out for the rest of the season. It's a young man that he pours a lot into this football team, and it's obviously unfortunate news for him, unfortunate news for us. But I know he will bounce back from it. But it's just one of those things that it does shake up our defensive backfield. He's been playing as kind of our third corner rolling, and so now it's an open door opportunity for somebody else, and we got to continue to be better there within our secondary. We gave up some explosive plays the other day that leverage alignments, things that we need to get corrected. And so that's a group that is continuing to challenge and challenge themselves, and obviously from all parts of it, we've got to see guys that are going to go take a positive step within that group, and expect them to see it. And whether it's Charles, Kai Bates, Ricky Knight, you got all the guys that are trying to push to gain more opportunities. I think you see, Shamar has played, playing a little bit of that field safety role, and I think that's something that he was able to get some good work in, and they made a couple plays there in the game there on Saturday, and want to see him continue to ascend, because I think he's heading in the right direction. But we need to, obviously it's a group that has to go take a step this week.
Brenda?
And I hadn't seen Tommy's emotions immediately after the game showed up on the broadcast. Do you like that as a coach, and him wearing the emotions on his sleeve like that? Is that something that has value in that way?
I mean, people that care. I mean, he cares, and for whatever the emotion that's shown. I mean, it's real for him, and that's where there's plenty of people can get emotional in moments. But like when you make a big investment, a big sacrifice, you want things to look and be a certain way, and sometimes we fulfill that. Sometimes we come up short from that, and but what you can do is you can own all things, and you can grow from all things. And I think that's where I mentioned it after the game. I know Tommy in the locker room, he stood in front of the team, and he spoke on just his perspective of things, and and as I spoke yesterday in the team meeting, I mean, I love seeing guys that want more from themselves, that are willing to put themselves out there. But on the flip side, Tommy, he did a lot of good things in some challenging situations the other night, and we all have areas, like I said, coaches and players that we get to grow. But when you have somebody that's willing to take the reins of it and say, well, watch this, watch what I will do, because I know that this is not to the best of my ability, and I'm going to do everything I can to make that happen. And so, like I say, to say all the time, I want an emotional team that will pour everything they have, but obviously being able to control those emotions in the right way in those type of environments.
All right.
Coach White mentioned yesterday that had some more alignment issues that led to some of their big plays. Is it hard to evaluate, like whether or not, how much of it is just their player being better than your player versus how much of it was controllable? And
I mean, you got to put yourself in a position to do what you're being asked to do, and so I think that those are things that piss me off. Like when you don't, that's an easy, functional, task, and it's not for a lack of want to. It just you get caught up in a moment. You get caught up of, hey, I think this might or this or that might, and you just got to trust your eyes, trust your trust your alignment assignment, and then go execute to the best of your ability. And it's a talented team we played, but I feel very confident in the group that I get to coach. But they won the game. They made the plays that were necessary to win the game. We contributed in the ways to lose a game. And if you do some of those things, then that's going to show up. But we have to clean up the things that we can control, and then put ourselves in the best position to go be able to answer that question better. What guys are asked to do.
Corey?
You might have already played your 3 toughest games of the season. I know you don't look at a schedule like that, but there is a world, you're still 25th. If you win out, I mean, it's a 12-team playoff. Is that a message to
be
you?
honest, I'm not even,
Okay.
I could care less about all the next however many weeks that we have. I want this week. Like I know what we played. I know what it looks like, and we've played we played 3 top 25 teams. We have 2 losses, and we turned the ball over 6 times in 2 losses. We have a top 10 win, against a formidable opponent that we didn't turn the ball over, and or we hit the punt deal, but we played a lot cleaner football game, and we showed that we could perform at a very high level. So for all the stuff that's in front of us, go take care of this week.
Do you worry about confidence though, when it
No.
comes to losing back-to-back games?
No, I mean, no, ultimately, when I don't worry about confidence, because I'm in there, with the guys, and I hear and I see, and they understand, these are the things that ultimately we control. Now, I mean, there's times that if you just line up and, man, it's, and there's no, everything is your best, and you just You know, I've been a part of that. I was a part of that sometimes at moments last year, you know, and that's being real, and, you know, that tests your confidence, because, but, you know, for us in the, you know, the situation that we're in, you know, it's disappointing because there are controllable factors that we need to be better at. It's our job as coaches, it's our job as players. You know, you see it, you hold it accountable, your players holding themselves accountable to what we need to do, but, man, that's part of this game. And I mean, first thing I started off with our inter-team meeting yesterday, just telling them how much I love coaching them. Cause this is a fun group to coach. Like they've got it. It's you know, the edge of what they bring, the desire, the passion, you know, the emotions. I mean, all of that is there. But it's, you know, you can have all of that, you know, but you've got to be able to hone in and, you know, just to be able to put it all on display, playing 11 guys playing as one, you know, and that's where it's like, you know, it's exciting for what can be, and we need to see it this week. But I'm not worried about the confidence of this team, because it's easy to go back and watch and say, well, I mean, we're putting ourselves in a really tough situation because of this action, or because of this, you know, decision, or because of that, you know, alignment, you know, whatever that, you know, contributing factor within a play. Not just that, hey, this guy, you know, we're just not good enough. That's not the case. And, you know, but there's winning football and there's losing football, and you gotta choose what you're gonna be able to apply in the moment. And, you know, obviously when you're playing good teams, and as we have played, you know, 3 really quality opponents this year, you know, you better be on the right end of it.
Liam?
Kind of following up on that with the confidence with the team, who, and if anybody in particular, has really kind of done that, especially after 2 weeks of losses that, like you said the other day, it was just, they're close, a couple possessions, and what can that do for a team when their heads are up rather than, you know, kind of looking down?
So you're asking like what players?
What players, are kind of like anyone in general?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, you feel, you know, Daryl Jackson was, you know, even remarkable throughout the course of the game. I mean, he's a guy that's been there, done it. You know, yesterday in practice, I mean, you see who's willing to run out there. I mean, Earl Little's been great. You know, another guy there in the defensive backfield. I mean, every play, no matter what it is, I mean, he's throwing all that he has into it. And you know, when it comes to the work, when it comes to that investment, I think you know, our linebacking core, I mean, we've got some really good leaders within that group. You know, offensively, you know, Tommy, you know, Luke. I mean, those guys, you know, they're remarkable. Deuce Robinson has been, you know, outstanding. You know, you watch, you know, Randy work and the things that he does. I mean, running back group is a really good group of guys. We have some older and, you know, veteran guys that kind of help some of them through the process. But you know, we've got, you don't see you know, when I go in there, you see a team that is disappointed because of the outcome. Like, I mean, we should be. Like, it's like every single person. I mean, you know, somebody asks you how you doing, you want to, you know, just punch them in the face because it's not good. You know, it's like I'm not happy with anything that happened in the last 2 weeks. But you know what? I mean, there's also the joy for who you get to do it with, because you watch them work. You see that you see and believe in what they can do, and so that's where, you know, it's like anybody can get up and give a speech, hey, and this is what we're going to do, and this is what it's going to be. But then if they go out there and they don't make the investment, it's not going to matter. Like, these guys they're pouring in, you know, they're hungry, they're excited to go get better, and you know, we don't have to press. And I told the, you know, even coaching staff, I mean, take a deep breath, right? Make sure that we're continuing to emphasize, holding accountable the things that we know that have to get done, and then let's go see the application of that from our players throughout the course of the week, and then they get to go out there and apply it throughout the course of the game. And you know, when that happens, which has happened, you know, throughout the course of this year already, you know, we can do great things.
Brendan?
Do you have any updates on Micah Pettis as well as Ashton Barker going to be close to?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't have any, you know, concrete, you know, updates on what that status is going to look like right now. It'll probably be, you know, a little bit further down the week, and we'll see how they progress.
We'll go to Corey once he gets the microphone.
You talked about Tommy. There were some plays in that fourth quarter. One in particular where he spins out of a sack, a free blitzer, and makes a great throw on the sideline. Like, he had some remarkable plays in that game. how do you kind of, you wanna celebrate that and let them do that, but also know maybe on first down, don't try to throw that pass into the end zone. How do you, when you have a player that talented and that skilled that thinks he can make every play, how do you curb that a little bit so he doesn't feel like he needs to make great plays on every play?
Yeah, I mean, it's a, you know, there's a balance, and I tell, you know, coach guys, you know, like, I mean, Jordan was very similar. You know, Jordan had you know, he could do some things that, you know, no coach can draw up of just how to keep it alive, and Tommy had some of those plays there, you know, Saturday night that, man, is just, you know, he is a special playmaker. But, you know, in the moment where you need the spark, and that's what I always tell guys, man, you don't have to go, you know, create the play. If you will just go out there and play the game and let each play come to you, I mean, the special plays are gonna show up. And so you don't have, and you know, Tommy, right after that play, you know, it happened. I mean, you know, I was the first one to get him on the sideline, and I said, man, you know, what'd you see, what'd you think? And, you know, and he knows in the moment, but if that's where it's just the deep breath and let's go play the next play. And I thought that, you know, his response through the game is growth. Because, you know, there were some times later in the game, I said last week, you know, against that team, you know, finding yourself behind where you were having to go in basically a 2-minute drill for most of the fourth quarter, that plays straight to their strength of and, you know, he made it happen. And for whatever it was, you know, there in the fourth quarter, you know, 19 points. I mean, you know, he was able to play composed, react, you know, put the ball where it needed to be. I mean, long drive, you know, some great explosive plays that showed up. I mean, that's what you want in a quarterback. And it's finding that balance, and, you know, it's something that a lot of quarterbacks playing in college and even guys in the National Football League, that they have to find that within their growth. And I think that part of the emotion that Tommy had, you know, coming Saturday is he knows there was a few of those plays that he probably tried to do just a little bit too much, but he didn't necessarily need to, because all we need is for him to go be himself. And that's, you know, I think, and that's how I feel about this team. And it's whether it goes back to an alignment question, whether it goes back to, you know, everybody wants to win. We want to be successful. And the moment you start, you know, and this is my job, it's my responsibility, but, you know, let the special plays be your reaction. Let those be the reactionary plays. Let's put ourselves in position to go do what we need to do, and then, you know, your playmaking ability will take over when it has to. So,
All right.
People have different opinions because of what the score was going into the fourth quarter, how important those last few drives were, but not just the fact that you guys scored 19 points, but, you know, Makai's catch, Deuce's catch on the sideline. There's like a lot of 4-down conversions. Like, there are a lot of great plays. Do you think that'll be something that those guys can grow from?
oh, absolutely. I mean, you grow from you. I think there's things early in the game that didn't look good on our part. The guys are going to grow from. Got things that you can. You know, and that goes back to the confidence question, you know, that you get. Well, you know, this team has put on display, you know, some really good things in 5 weeks. You know, we've also put you know, on display some things that can cost you games in a couple weeks. So, you know, you get to grow through all of it, and, you know, that's the, you know, you want to learn all lessons through victory. And yes, I mean, you know, we did not do what we needed to do to achieve victory. But they're going to grow from what we've gone through, and you know, and that's where, you know, I mean, they're tough, they're gritty, you know, they got an edge, and I think they showed that they're going to fight till the finish, you know, in what we're doing. But you know, we just got to be cleaner in it, and I mean, they should have confidence, because I don't care who we play. I mean, we played some talented teams, and there's not one game that I've come out of saying, oh well, we don't belong in that. Like, I mean, we gotta play we gotta play our game. We gotta eliminate some of the mistakes, and you know, I think we can play with anybody.
Chris?
I know Deuce has been ultra dependable and produced at a really high level. Is there an element of work you can get those other guys, Wayne, Makai, Squirrels, Impulse, to more involved, just take some weight off, and also force the defenses to look at you guys a little differently?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, you know, I think we've had, you know, pretty good balance, you know, in it. You know, Deuce has done a good job of taking advantage of opportunities where the ball's come to him. You know, I know Wayne's had, you know, had a couple big plays that have showed up, I think guys have done that. We missed, we had a couple of, misses that we've gotta have, with, on a couple of the drop back stuff the other day that, I think could have been big plays. And so, when the ball comes to you, you gotta make it. And, obviously, Deuce has done a great job. The Randy was our leading receiver in the game. I think that, just whether it's the running backs have showed up as, being productive, catching the ball out of the backfield as well. So, I think I think we've shown a diverse group of talented playmakers that can, help impact. And so, but I'm definitely proud of Deuce for how he's playing and being consistent when the ball comes to him.
Aslan in the back.
In this revenue share world, I think the theoretical hope is that everybody was gonna be competing on level ground. People that are judging teams from the outside, do they need to be aware that maybe everybody's not on equal footing when it comes to putting the resources into getting their rosters ready for the season?
I don't, for however people wanna perceive, it's, we live in the reality of what college football is right now. And, I think that, as this, July 1st started the new age of rev share and, what that will look like moving forward. And, so, we'll play it out, and that'll be something that you'll probably hear in the next few years. We'll have a different scope of what that reality is and how teams disperse, resources and all things like that. But right now you're still operating, with how teams and rosters were created up to this point.
Taylor.
Kind of following up on Tommy and his style of play, he obviously leads with his body and he makes plays happen with his feet. I think this past game and the game before, obviously, he was hobbled a little bit coming off the field, a couple different plays. Are you worried at all about injury? Do you ever think about reining him in a little bit with his style of play?
That's a good question. You have to, when you play that, with that, I guess, freedom, and he's free with his body, with legs, all those things. He knows how to make great plays. You do want him to be smart. I don't want any unnecessary shots that are taken. And there's been a few plays where you try to give as much sound advice in the moment, or before the moment shows up, of ways to protect yourself and things to do. And I think he's done a good job of that. There's some times that he's not taking just a bunch of vicious hits. It's more it's the times whenever he's gotten the falls to the ground or things like that. So it's just being aware of some of those situations where you can probably be doing the best job in protecting yourself.
Got time for a couple more. Corey.
It sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you're watching this film with your team or with your coaches, and you see the plays that could have been made, the message is, guys, they're not that much better than you. You can play with anyone in the country if you play well. Is that the message? It's not like they just steamrolled you. You had more yards than them. You had 30 first downs or whatever it was. Is that the message? Like, if you guys just play clean, you can beat anyone.
I think that I think we've shown that. Right? Alabama's a good football team, and I know when we beat them in week 1, they weren't. Obviously, but now all of a sudden they're a good team again. So it was, and we were dominant in that game. We were, and it could have been worse if we would have been a little bit cleaner in that. And but you know what? Where we are, we also went on the road and lost to Virginia, and we just lost at home to a rival. Like, we earned all of it. We've shown all of it, so we're capable. And so it's not. I've got ultimate belief in this team. I got ultimate belief in our coaches. It is, but it's still about the application. And that's where, we've been here, we've seen it, and there's gonna be ups and downs in games. There's gonna be ups and downs and swings. These guys are they're good coaches. They're, they good players that you're going against when you're playing at that caliber. So there's gonna be plays you lose. There's gonna be plays that where it doesn't, but when you look at the differences in the game, and we gotta take care of us. And if we take care of us, I'm very confident that we can achieve anything. I'll say it like that. What that means, where that goes, what that can be for this team, let me see it this week. And for us as a football program, that's what I wanted on display at noon on Saturday. I want our best game of, no game will be perfect. You're gonna make mistakes. There's gonna be times but put ourselves in the best position to play Florida State football, to making sure we're owning the football, make sure we're playing fast, playing physical, communicating well, and then cut it loose and have fun, because we got some great playmakers that, can definitely make it happen.
All right, last one, Ira.
Got a special teams 2-for-1. Thankfully for the instant replay, you got the targeting call. Squirrel okay after that hit? Cause I know he didn't come back and.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I mean, I believe he was, at practice yesterday, but we'll, see how he progresses through the week.
And then,
Thank God for replay.
yeah. You can't get fined for that. Jake,
I could probably get fined for a lot of things.
Jake-
You didn't ask the right questions.
I can try. Jake's
I can answer.
Jake's leg is obviously a great weapon. But even in the past, Ryan can kick touchbacks too, but sometimes there's a little shorter kicks to get a return and maybe get field position. Is that even something you think about, or is it just put him on 25?
I mean, I think Jake has done an outstanding job, and I've been really pleased with our kickoff coverage unit, cause you never know. I mean, every kickoff, you gotta expect the ball to be coming out. Jake's been remarkable. Bruno, when he's went in there, has been remarkable in those, with those opportunities, but, you gotta, when you watch our guys cover, they cover with purpose. And so, if there's a time or a place that could be a possibility, then we'll look at that. But, I think they're doing what we've been asking them to do, and, doing it at a very high level.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.